in memory of her father, Yosef ben Yehuda. Gary and Marsha Schrager in memory of his mother, Frida Bas Hindel, and his father, David Yosef. Michael and Judith Beretsky in memory of his father, Gershon ben Chaim Tzvi. Sephora Goldstein in memory of her husband, Aryeh Yehuda ben Moshe Shmuel. Mel and Haran Haller in memory of his father, Avram ben Zev. Week of Learning, Judy and Marty Engel in memory of her father, Chaim Yosef ben Alter Yaakov with a Vav. And Judy Iger in memory of her son, Yerachmiel ben Aharon. What's today's date?
8th.
No dead people on the day.
We'll say we're on Dafayin Hay.
Well, I mean, there are dead people, but nobody to chill that month.
Dafayin Hay. 1, 2, 3, 4 lines from the top. Kiater Abdimi. Kiater Abdimi, where Abdimi came, Amar Yochanan, he said the name of Rabbi Yochanan, the Shashel of Yosin Roy, when the Yosin gets hungry, Motzi Havel Mipi, Umartiach, he puts out a breath from his mouth. The Martiach, now this is an interesting word. In modern Hebrew, Martiach is always used for the word boiling, etc. But you see, Reticha makes the bubbles. That's really what it is. When you say stuff in modern Reticha, it's bubbling. It's bubbling up.
The white caps.
Yeah. I'm saying, but the modern language they don't understand it that way.
Froth.
Frothing up. Yeah. So over here, therefore, he causes the ocean to bubble up. But he makes a bubbling of all of the waters of the deep ocean. Shenamar, as it says in Eov, he's gonna bubble up like a pot. The deep waters. If that fish had not stuck its head into Gan Eden, where there's a good smell, nobody could stand the smell of the fish. Shenamar, as it says, Yom Yosim Kemer Kachav. He turns the ocean into a type of perfume. It gets a good smell from Gan Eden. When the fish is thirsty, he ends up making, when he drinks, he makes furrows in the ocean. Shenamar says, after will be seen. It's Machlokes how to translate this, but will be seen a furrow. Amar of Acha bar Yaakov, he said, no, that's why I said to you. So there's a Machlokes how to translate that word. So the simple way is for the Rashbam is that it's seen, not that it's seen. Now see, other people translate shines, but he translates it becomes visible. Amar Bacha bar Yaakov, he says, Einatam choser leitzano ad shivim shana. He says, and see, but the result of that drinking doesn't go back for 70 years to its norm. Shenamar, like it says in Eon, the Yechashiv to home l'seva, he's going to turn the depths into old age. What's old age? Ain't safe. There's no old age with less than 70 years. In the future, Hashem is going to give a meal to the tzaddikim from the Livyasan. Shenamar, because it says about him, it says Yichur alav chabarim. What Yichur alav chabarim? So the chabarim, the colleagues, the friends, are going to make a meal. In Kira, we don't know what's that real mean. El Suda, we know that word Kira is really a language of making a meal. Shenamar, it says, because the pasuk says, "Vayichor lahem Kira Gedol." He made them a big Kira, v'yishtu, and they eat and they drink. So you see that from the context, you can see that what the Kira means, a meal. Ve'ein advarim ve'ein chaborim. Who are chaborim? He said colleagues. El Tamid Chacham. That by definition means Tamid Chacham. It's tzaddikim, but Tamid Chacham. Shenamar, as it says. Yosheves Beganim, okay, the one who dwells in the gardens, Chaver Makshivim, okay, Makshivim, friends who listen. So he says, the Kola Hashmeni, let me hear your voice. I want to hear the sound of them speaking the Torah.
Learning Torah.
Yeah. Bashar, okay, and what do you do with the rest of Yosin? Apparently it's so big, they're not going to be covered up. They divide it up and they make business with it. They trade it off in the markets of Yerushalayim. Whenever it says, Kanan biyado ozni mirma, Kanan because it says Yechatzu bein Kananim. They're going to divide up between Kananim. Now, this is not the Kananim, the Canaanites. Bein Kananim elach tagorim. Kananim really means what? Merchants. So remember, as it says, Kanan biyado mazne mira la'ashok this Kanan, the type of merchant, he has in his hands false scales to cheat. Yeah, to cheat. He likes to cheat. Okay, okay. The same alternatively, I can learn it from here. Asher, how do we know that the Kanan is merchants? Asher sarim. It's talking about its merchants are noblemen. Kananeha, and again, it's Kananim. Okay, nechba they are. It's also the sellers, the traders. They are the honored among the people. In the future, Hashem is going to make a sukkah with tzaddikim from the skin of the Yasin. Shnever, as it says, Hatamale basukah. Here, are you going to complete a sukkah with its skin? So you see what the speaking about the Yasin. Zocha, okay, and if a person is Zocha, also no sukkah. If a person is Zocha, then in the world to come, he's going to get a sukkah from the Yasin. Those Zocha, he's not so meritorious. Also, no tzeltzel. He at least gets a roof over his head from the Yasin, but no walls. Yeah, but no walls.
Shenemar, not really a kosher.
Yeah,
because that's a
yeah, just shade. Shenemar, with also dogim rosha. He said because it's with dogim rosha. You see, his head's gonna be covered with covering from the fish. The zocha osin lo tziltzal. And if he's zocha, okay, he can at least get a covering over them. Those zocha, he's not that meritorious. Osin lo anak. They make for him he just gets a necklace. She never says vanokim legago sechav. So the Torah is going to be a necklace for your neck. Zocha osin lo anak. If he's zocha that much, at least he gets a necklace. Lo zocha, he's not even that meritorious. Osin lo kameh. He just gets an amulet to hang from his neck. She never, as it says, v'tikshirenu lenarasecha. You're going to tie it for your young girls. We know that it's a necklace. Bashar. Okay, Parasha Kadosh Baruch Hu al Chomus Yerushalayim. What happens to the rest of the skin of the Leviathan? Kadosh Baruch Hu puts it on the walls of Yerushalayim. Ziva Magi b'sofa l'sofa. It shines so much. It shines from one end of the world to the other, and even the goyim will get benefit from the Leviathan. Shnever says v'hochu goyim l'orech. So because the nations are going to go now. We'll explain this 1 second. Like if you learned before what that's going to the light, okay. Okay, ulachim. Okay, lenoga zarchei. The other way is to learn that or is doctrine as a pun, even though the or here is with an aleph like light. Okay, really means orech with an eye. It's talking about what the skin will shine. Okay, will benefit. Besamti kadkod shimshosayim. Now, kadkod is a type of stone. Okay. Is a type of precious stone. So I'm going to make your walls out of this precious stone. Okay, he says, Pligi, okay, there are two angels in the heaven that argue over the definition of this. And Gabriel, that's Gabriel and Michael. It was Eliyahu, but he told them apparently. Some people say no, the Machlokas is Tremar Bamar, but it's two Amoraim in Eretz Israel. Uman Inun, who are they? Yehuda v'Chizkiah b'nei Rabbi Chia. Yehuda v'Chizkiah, the sons of Rabbi Chia. Chanamar, whoever the contenders are, Chanamar, one of them says, Shoam, it's made from the stone known as a Shoam. The Chanamar, Yoshbe, it's made from the stone known as Yoshbe. Amahalu HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says to them, you know what? He says, you have an argument. He loves the words of the Chachamim. The heavy kadein v'kadein. So kadkod, if you look at the word, it's a pun. Kadein v'kadein, like this one, like that one. And incredibly, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it so that it will satisfy, even though this machlokas happens in the future. Hashem in the past is already dictating, decreeing according to it. I just taught this in several different classes, and you have to understand, we are human beings are the whole purpose of creation. Period. And it makes sense. It makes sense that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and here, who decides what the word of God is? People, not God. It's incredible. After Hashem gave the Torah, who decides what God said? The rabbis. Yeah, the rabbis. And not just the rabbis. Yeah, and not just the rabbanans. Not just the rabbanans. The doraisa is determined. The doraisa law is ultimately determined by the chachamim. What it says, and it makes sense because the purpose of the world for us is so it makes sense that Baruch Hu gave us a position and put us into the most pivotal, whatever the most significant position in the world for us to say what God's Torah is. Hashem gives tremendous stature to human beings. Okay. And the gates are going to be stones of ekdach. Okay, the kodech is when you drill something or you bore into it. This is like the famous story of Rabbi Yochanan. The Kodash Rabbi Yochanan was once darshaning. Also, Kodesh Baruch Hu Habi Avanim Tovos Margal Shem. Hashem's going to bring precious stones and pearls. Shem Shloshim, which are 30 amas in length. Al Shloshim are 30 amas by width. The Chokei Ben Eser Al Hashim is going to cut an opening into it by 10 by 20. Mamida B'Shar Yerushalayim is going to put it into the gates of Yerushalayim. That's going to be the entranceway for these precious stones. Liglig of also Talmud to a certain student, they mocked him. He says, "Hashtag b'biasa the tziltzul lo mishkachina." You don't find precious stones the size of the egg of this small bird. You're gonna find precious stones 30 by 30. What are you talking about? He says, we're gonna find such a thing. So what happened? So he says, but sometime later, if Ligos Finasa, his ship his boat was sailing on the sea, and the Chazar he saw in a dream. Okay, the Yosve B'Komenasre Avanim B'Tobos and Regalos. He saw the ministering angels that were there, and they were sawing, they were cutting precious stones and pearls. Okay, Shem Shloshim Al Shloshim. They were exactly what Rabbi Yochanan said, 30 amas by 30 amas. And they cut into it an entranceway, which was 10 in width. Barom Esrim, which was 20 high. The entrance to the Beis Hamikdash. Amarlo, he said to him, Ani Laman. He says, "Who is this for?" He said to them, "Amarle." They said to him. He says, "Asher Kodesh Baruch Hu Lahamidam B'Shar Yerushalayim." Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to put these into the gates of Jerusalem. It's exactly what Rabbi Yochanan said. He saw. After the coming of Rabbi Yochanan, he came in front of Rabbi Yochanan. He says to him, "Rosh Rabbi," he says, "Rabbi," he says, "Darshan l'chol knowledge, Rosh. It's good for you to darshan." Kasher Marta came. He said, "Just like you said, that's what I saw. I mama saw it." Okay, and he said to him, Rabbi Yochanan said back to him, Reiko, he said, "You bum, you bum, you empty thing, you bum. If you didn't see it, Loimanta, you wouldn't have believed what I said. You're a mocker of the words of the rabbis. And anybody put his eyes on him, and Nasa Galshal at some, he turned into a pile of bones. The guy died. And you have to know, we have a famous case by Rabbi Shimon. Shlomo Melech tells us, he says, go to the ant, and you'll see, he says, go learn from the ant. He says, the ant has no king, no ruler to make him do what he does. The ant toils away and then puts up his food. So Shimon says, wow, he says, I got to see this. So he runs out. There's a Gemara, fresh as a food. So he has to go, he runs out, and he finds on a sunny day, he finds an anthill, and he puts his coat over the anthill, and an ant comes out. He sees that it's shady outside. The ant runs back in, and he tells all the other ants, hey, it's shady outside. All the ants come pouring out of the hall. Rabbi Shimon pulls his coat off.
And they all rose.
Yeah, all the ants are upset. This guy, they say, lied to them, and they kill him. He says, must be just like Shlomo said. They had a ruler. They would have had they couldn't have killed him. They would have had a trial. Yeah, go get permission. Must be just like David, just like Shlomo said. So Tosafos is a kasha. Rabbi Yosef brings us in his I think in his Agadah Shel Pesach. What's the difference? Tosafos, what's the difference? If you're over here, the guy went and saw what Rabbi Yochanan said. He's a bomb. Rabbi Shimon went to see Simon, just like Shlomo said, he went to see it. So how come he's a good guy? And how come he's a bad guy? And the answer is that there's a difference. To go and to see the truth of what the Torah told us, that's wonderful. You should be a scientist. Go out. That's right. God said this way. Go out and look. Go see. Go look to see the reality of what God said. That's a beautiful thing. You should do that. That's a good thing to do. What's wrong is when the person didn't accept the tradition. That's a different story. If you accept the tradition, now you want to go see how it plays out. That's good. That's a good thing. You should be. Go be a scientist. Go watch it happen. Hey, my Rebbe, blessed memory, really encouraged us to do these things. We did all that. He let us do stuff that was other people wouldn't have done. Yes, why? In order to see the reality of the Torah is beautiful. Yes, but the other way to not accept it, and that's real. When the rabbis give you tradition, you have to know that tradition is true. Now you want to go see it, you want to go see for yourself. That's fine, but not that you rejected it. And that's the difference. That's Tosafos.
You don't believe it.
Right? Exactly. Exactly. Meisive, okay, he says, "V'olech Hashem l'komiyos." So Hashem said, I'm gonna walk you upright. But komiyos says like a coma is like the height of one floor. I'm gonna walk you the height of two floors, it looks like. What does that mean? Mayor Omer Masayim Ama. So it's gonna be, so then what's going to be the gate of Yerushalayim? So there was Meir says what it's going to be. If I said before,
200.
yeah, I just want to check one thing. Yeah, I said if I said before Beis Medrash, I meant Shar Yerushalayim, the gates of Yerushalayim. Okay, so then he says what? So he said Meir says it's 200 amas. Why? Because it's two floor lengths. Because they come Other Rishon, it's like two lengths of Other Rishon. We know Other Rishon was 100 amas high. So it's two floors high, two comas, two lengths of a man, so it's 200 amas. He says, no, it's only 100. This is why it's like the height of the it's like the sanctuary of the Beis Hamikdash here and its walls. Shenever it says a share. Yes, my eyes are still a little adjusting here. Banana katias megudolim. Okay, but when I said it, kazabios, but so we see what they're like the cornerstone of the Beis Hamikdash. We compare it. So therefore, what the two is the height is the height of the Beis Hamikdash, which was 100. He come Rav Yochanan, okay, lekabe bezika, and so you have to have a problem.
He said only 20.
Yeah. The answer is what? He wasn't talking about the entranceway. He was only talking about what?
Ventilation.
About the just the windows to get the air in there, to get air in there. Rabbi Yochanan, he said, the world to come, every tzaddik is going to get 7 chuppahs. She never says, now you can, I'm going to read the pasuk, then I'll enumerate them afterwards. She never says, Hashem al kol bachon har Tzion, I'll make and on its assemblies, the people who were called, Anan Yomam v'Ashan, V'noga Eish, also light and fire, Lahaba, the flame, Lila, flame at night, Yal Kol Kavah Chuppah, Kol Kavah Chuppah. So now it comes out, what are the 7? Anan Yomam is 1 chuppah, Ashan is 1 chuppah, Noga is 1 chuppah, Eish is 1 chuppah, Lahaba is 1 chuppah, Ki Al Kol Kavod is 1 chuppah, and chuppah is 1 chuppah. Malami chekol echad ve'echad. So you see what you see what the Hashem makes a chuppah for every single person according to his honor. Okay, so Gemara says what? Hashem chuppah lama. 1 second, but how come you have what kind of chuppah is going to be smoke? Smoke's not a nice chuppah, nice protection. Anybody who was stingy with the Talmud Chacham in this room, he didn't want to help him with his possessions. His eyes are full of smoke in the world to come.
We are accepting checks for my son's well.
And why same thing, Kasha? What how come a fire? Fire is also negative. Why is a fire in the chuppah? So Bechanini said, "This is a frightening thing. Every person is singed by the chuppah of his friend. Everybody knows if he wasn't on even if he was not just somewhat less than his colleague, he sees the difference of the chuppah his friend got and the chuppah he got, and he gets singed by it. And the Gemara says,
Rashbam says he burns with jealousy.
Yeah, he feels
when
terrible.
He sees somebody else has a better.
Yeah. That's why if you remember probably the says, listen, you say, okay, look, so I don't have to work so hard. I won't get such a big all-amount basis. You're not going to feel that way when you get there. When you get there, you're going to care about every drop that you got or you didn't get. It's going to make a difference. Don't think, I'll be okay. Where says, to such an embarrassment, to the confusion. To the disgrace. Similarly, we have a similar thing to that. It says, when Hashem says to Moshe, put some of your glory onto Yeshua. He says, he said, from your glory, below kol hotva. He's not giving all the glory. The Canaan shows the door, okay, so the wise men of that generation said, it was a big difference. Yeshua was much smaller in the stature than Moshe Rabbeinu, Pnei Moshe, Pnei Chama. The face of Moshe was like the face of the sun. The face of Yeshua was only like the face of the moon. It was just a reflection of Moshe. To such an embarrassment, to such a disgrace, to such a confusion.
Well, we can see from Moshe to Yehoshua, it was such a gap.
Yeah,
You can imagine in
yeah,
our door, you
yeah,
read us a Daras.
yes, yes. I told you a story that my Rebbe, blessed memory, he did many things that nobody understood, but he would engage with all kinds of people. And one day he came back and he gave me a paper written by a famous university professor. He said, "I want you to respond to this person's paper." He wrote a paper on modern Hebrew poets, you know.
Mm.
So who knows when my Rebbe wanted, when I read the paper, I said, "Rebbe, if you want to respond to this paper, I have to go to the university and go read up on this stuff and answer the guy." He said, "It's worth it." He said, "Go, leave the base madrash and go and study these things and write the response," which I did. I wrote a very beautiful paper to the guy. But while I was studying, you know, these modern guys, they're so full of hot air, such ego. They're disgusting, these guys. The Hebrew University is the center of the worst people you've ever met. So, the worst. So certainly in those days, they were still alive, that generation. But anyway, so I get there. So all these pompous idiots are writing all their scholarly papers, and they're so smart. They know everything about Judaism and the Talmud, you know, etc. So they see a quote. The guy sees a quote that the Pnei Moshe, the face of Moshe, is like he sees in one of the modern poets. You know, so these modern poets, they grew up first. They were first from when they were kids. Later they became Apikursim. So they remember a lot of stuff they learned in Cheder, you know. So the guy mentions the face of Moshe is like the face of the sun, and the face of Yeshua is like the face of the moon. So the professor is so proud of himself that he heard this Gemara. He's breaking his arm, patting himself on the back. And the fool doesn't realize that any guy who went to yeshiva when he was a kid, when he said this, he wasn't referring to this Gemara. He's referring to the book called the Pnei Yeshua. The guy, he said the Pnei Yeshua. The guy mentioned the guy mentioned the Pnei Yeshua. I'm sorry. And the guy just mentioned not Pnei Moshe. He mentioned just the Pnei Yeshua, and the professor's like bending over, congratulating himself because he remembers this. And the poet didn't mean it.
He was talking about his same.
Yeah, he's talking about the book. Every kid that went to yeshiva would do the Pnei Yeshua. It wasn't. He didn't say Pnei Moshe. I made a mistake when I thought he just said the Pnei Yeshua. So the guy was so proud of himself. He misread the modern poet. The guy got it wrong. Anyway, Rachmanis. Hashem should forgive them. Anyway. Furthermore, so now what does it mean? What's oi? So one oi is that in such a short time there was such a change. That's one way to say oi. And the other way is oi for the generation that already itself had to lose such a thing, you know, had to have such a loss. Kayotzi with Omer, similar. Oh, I did that right, yeah. Okay, Amr Rabbi Chanina, he says, Esachupas Asakadosh Baruch Hu L'Adam Rishon and Gan Eden. In Gan Eden, Hashem made 10 chuppahs for other Rishon, Shenemar, because the Navi says, Be'eden Gan Elohim Aisavi Hashem saying to the king of Tzur, to Hiram El Tzur, he says, were you in Gan Eden? It says, call Evan Yakara, etc. Were you in Gan Eden when I took every precious stone and made these chuppahs for Adam Arishon? And what are the 10? It's Odem, Pitador, Yalom, Tarshi, Shoham, Yoshbe, Sapir, Nofach, Barakas, and Zohar. Okay, Marzucha Omar Achadasra, he said it was 11. Shenemar says because it also says Kol Evan Yikar says also every precious stones. That's an 11th category of stone. The worst, the least valuable of all these precious ones was Zohar, was the chuppah made out of what? Out of gold. The Chachashim Levasov, since it was mentioned last, that was the least valuable. Okay, now what does it mean when it said in the Navi? He says Hashem says also to Hiram, he's rebuking Hiram, the king of Tzor. He says what? He says inside of you is the work of a drum and your holes, the empty spaces. So a drum is hollow. You see in a hollow. He says, it was you. He says, I knew that when I created the world, I saw that you're going to rebel against me and you're going to make yourself a god. Over us in the covering of others, I made all the orifices and holes in human beings that they have to go to the bathroom. Everybody knows that human beings are not God. The fact that a person goes to the bathroom, everybody knows they're not God. When I first met my Rebbe, also I was in a shiur and I had to leave to go to the bathroom. I excused myself. He looked at me and says, he says, now we know you're human. He says to me, he says, from this Gemara. He says what? He says, some people learn like that. Here's what he was saying to you. I looked at you in the beginning of the world. That's why I punished Adam Rishon with death. For the same reason, since I knew, I saw already that people like you are gonna, people like you are gonna come around and make claims that they're gods. I made death in the world. Also, that's right. Now the tof, the drum or the empty space, is the grave. Okay, what is the what about this pasuk we mentioned before? It says we all Hashem made this place in Zion. We all mikra. I remember all the gatherings or the callings. Amar Rabbi Yochanan. You have to explain like this. He says, "What? It's a question. It's a question of being invited. Lo Yerushalayim shalom haza. Yerushalayim of this world. Yerushalayim shalom haba. Yerushalayim of the world to come is not the Yerushalayim of this world. Yerushalayim shalom haba. Yerushalayim in the world to come." Okay, pardon me, the Yerushalayim of this world, called Yerushalayim of this world called a Rotze Lalos Ola. Everybody wants to go up, can go up. Olam Haba in the world to come, in Olam Elam Zuman. In the world to come, only the people who are invited get in. In the future, the tzaddikim we're going to call tzaddikim by God's name. Shenever says, "Kol Nikra Bishmi." Okay, call Nikra Bishmi Vodi Rasav Yatzati Avasisi. See what the person is called by the name of God. They're going to call the person God. Okay, okay. Shmuel bar Nachmani Amar Yochanan Amar Bishmuel Amar Bishmuel Yochanan. There were three different cases where they were called by the name of God. Alien, who is called by God's name? Tzaddikim are called by God's name. Mashiach, the Mashiach is called by God's name. Yerushalayim is called by God's name. Tzaddikim Hadamra, Tzaddikim, like we said before, okay, that they would see because he says it was called by God's name, which they're actually calling him Hashem. Okay, Mashiach is also called by God's name. The Chsiv is written V'zeshmo Asher Yikra'o Hashem. It's going to be called Hashem Tzidkenu. It's going to be called Hashem Tzidkenu. Yerushalayim the Chsiv and how Yerushalayim the because it says Savi Shmona Elef V'Shem Ha'ir Mayom. From that day, the name of the city was Hashem Shma. Its name was Hashem. I'll take pardon me. The name of the city. I read the pasuk wrong. Hashem Shama. The name of the city was God is there. I'll take Hashem Shama. Don't read that the name of the city is Hashem Shama. Ella Hashem Shma. The name of the city was Hashem. It was called by God's. It was called by God's name. Okay, Amar Belazar. See the tzaddikim name. It's in the future. The angels are going to say to the tzaddikim kadosh. They're going to call it tzaddikim kadosh holy. The same way they say kadosh in front of Hashem, they're going to say kadosh to the tzaddikim. Shenema, as it says, because the Navi says in Yeshaya, whoever's left over, they're gonna. It's gonna kadosh. Who he said to them, they're going to be called kadosh. Yerushalayim is going to be lifted up in the future 3 parsas up high.
7.5.
Yeah, yeah. Shenemar, as it says, okay, okay, it's going to be lifted up. Okay, okay, v'yoshva tachtel, and it's going to be dwelling on what's beneath it. What does that mean? My tachtel. What do you mean it's dwelling on what's beneath it? The answer is what? Ketachtel. The height that it's going to be high is like what its area was. Okay, we might. Okay, the high tachtel plus the parsi. We might die. So just like it was 3 parsas wide, so now it's 3 parsas high. The high.
Well, no, elevated.
Yeah, you got 3. Yeah, went up. It was lifted up 3 parsas. We might the high tachtel plus.
How long is the parsas again?
2.5 miles.
Thank you.
Thank
you. Okay, so and okay, plus the parsi obviously. How do I know that? That it used to be its area was across. It was 3 parsas across. I'm Rabba. I'm Rali Osaba. He said, and Alder told me when the Dichazi Yerushalayim came out, I saw the original Yerushalayim with plus the parsi. And it was 3 parsas across. B'Shema Tomar. You'll think, well, if it's going to be 3 parsas high, it's going to be a big hassle to go up there. It's going to be painful for people to climb up. Talmud Lomer and those says, "Me up to who's going to
7.5 mile staircase."
Yeah, who's going to fly like a cloud? Okay, Yonim and like the doves to their the entrances to their dove cuts. Papa Shmamina, you hear them say they're going to fly. It's going to be easy. Papa Shmamina, it's going to be easy. They're going to go easy, like just like the birds, etc., like the clouds and the birds. But here from here, I even plus approximately. If you want to know how high the clouds are, you have to say 3 parsecs because we see that the height is compared. Amar Chanina bar Papa, because Hakadosh Baruch Hu says Yerushalayim b'mida. Hashem had apparently originally planned Yerushalayim should have a measurement, should have a fixed amount that it's going to grow and no further. Should never, because it says Hashem says that's Einai. The Navi says he says I see a guy with a measuring tape. And I said, and I said, the Navi said, I said to him, where are you going? Where am I? I'm going to measure Jerusalem. The roads come to see how much the length and how much the width. So the Navi saw that the Yerushalayim was going to have a fixed number. So Rabbi Chanina explains. So the angels mixed in and they said they're mentioning Israel said HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Harbe Krakim. There are many cities in the world, big cities, metropolises. You made glacier metropolises. You never set a limit to how far they can grow. Let them grow as big as they wanted. Yerushalayim, where your name is in it, and your sanctuaries in it. Tzaddikim b'socham, the righteous people in it. You're going to put a fixed measure how much it can grow. Yad, immediately the angels protested, and what? So then what happens? The Navi tells you what? That another Navi,
another guy was sent out.
Another Navi came to greet another angel came to greet the angel that I was talking to. And he said to him, Roots Tabel, go talk to this young guy. Allah is Go tell him that it's going to be what Prazos, an open city with wallless, open city without any wall. Like an unwalled city, it's going to be Merov Adam, having so many people and so many animals. No, they're just like what? Just like unwalled cities have no limit to their growth. Also, they're going to build all Shalim, they'll build it as big as they want. Amar Reish Lakish said that we saw the Yerushalayim was 3 parses. Asher Kodesh Baruch Hu Hosif Al Yerushalayim. Kodesh Baruch Hu is going to add to the area of Yerushalayim 1,000 times bigger than this. And now, I'm going to show you each time there's machlokes how to read this. We're going to read it like the Rashbam. So each of these words is a gematria. Okay, so it's going to be 1,000 times. Tafeth. Okay, which is going to be what 169 thousands. Okay, okay. He's going to add 169,000 gardens, and also what Kefal Elef Kefal Migdalim and Elef Kefal Migdalim, and then 1,000 times the gematria of Kefal is going to add that many towers, which is what, which is 210. So 210,000. The Elef Litzoi Biranios, and he's going to make 1,000 times the gematria of Litzoi. He's going to make what? He's going to make big towers. Yeah, big towers. Okay, big towers. And Elef, because that's the amount. So that's 146,000. Okay, and Elef Ushnei. Okay, and 1,002 times Shiloh, the gematria of Shiloh. Totafra is machlokas, but we say small towers here. Okay. And that's how many. So it's going to be one
345.
345. But called echos ve'echos havikitzipur b'shavasa, and each one's going to have the size of tzipori in its heyday. Okay, Tanya Amr Rabbi Yossi ani reisi tzipur b'shavasa. I saw tzipori in its heyday. V'hayu bo okay meu shmonim el shvakim, and had one besides the other people had 180,000 markets of people who are just selling this one dish. This one dish of a certain dish called tzike kedera. Exactly. Okay. Furthermore, okay, one more thing about Yerushalayim of the future, and that is what vatzlo sela al sela shloshim pamim. Okay. So what does it mean? My shloshim pamim. What do you mean? What do you mean 3 and 30 times? So the answer is like this: Amar Rabbi Levi, Amar Rabbi Papi, Rabbi Yeshua Desichni. There are 2 ways what you're going to make triple. Okay, im shalosh Yerushalayim. Okay, if you're talking about what, if the 3 is going on Jerusalem, Yerushalayim is going to be 3 times bigger. So then every building is going to have 30 floors, 30 stories. And if Yerushalayim is going to be 30 times bigger than it was in area, okay, then it's going to be what? You're only going to need what? 3 floors in each building. Okay, now Itma. Now we're coming back to the
Now,
simple
the
halachas.
population will be the same. It's the
Yeah,
question of how the
yeah,
housing. will
yeah,
work
yeah,
out.
the area. Okay, so now we're back to the laws. We have to learn back, but now we're going back to the laws of Kinyan. Okay, how do we make an acquisition? So Itmar, we learned. Okay, Itmar, if a person sells a boat to his friend, where's the point where the buyer made a Kinyan and the seller can't go back? Rama, so you have to do Mashiach, you have to pull it. Rama Mar came in Shemashach Kosher. The second he moved it even a little bit, it's already a Kinyan and the seller can't go back. Kana, he's already Kana. Shmuel Amar, no, he says, Lo Kana, he's not Kana until he moves the whole boat. In other words, until the head of the boat, until the back of the boat
He moves it the length
reaches
of
the place where the head was, it's not a sale because why? You have to move the entire every bit of the boat has to leave. Okay, it has to be out of the place where it was. That's the machlokas. Once they move it a little bit, so no, the whole thing has to be utterly uprooted from its place. It's mar. So so now the Gemara says like this. He says, Lema katanoi. 1 second. How could these Amoraim be arguing this? They're taking sides against Atana. Didn't we learn this was machlokas tanoim? Okay, then we learn, okay, Ketzad, okay, we learn little big animals are too big to pull. So what? You just hand them over. The person gives permission, according to the Rashbam, and he takes hold, but he doesn't have to move a big animal like a cow. But a little animal like a sheep, you have to actually move it. You have to pull it. So he says, maybe it's about the same machlokes tanaim. We learned Ketzad b'mesirim. We said a big animal like a cow is acquired by handing over. So how does he do it? So he just has to grab it. The guy tells him grab it. He says also betalfi. He took it. He took hold of the leg. Okay, Basara. Okay, or he took hold of the mane of the animal. Ukoshalai took hold of the saddle that's on it. Bashalai took hold of the load that's on the animal. Beprumbi Shvapi took hold of the bit that's in its mouth. Bezog Shvatzavar took hold of the bell that's on the animal's neck. Kana, he acquired the animal. That's all called Masira, handing it over. Ketzad Bashicha. But let's say for a little animal like a sheep, what's called pulling it, moving it. Kari law, he calls it, he bought it, it comes to him. Shikishari, he gives it a whack. Okay, B'makal, B'ratzasah, Lefanov, gives it a whack and it runs in front of him. Kaven Sha'akra Yad V'regel. So the first minion Kana, the second that it lifted up its foreleg and its hind legs. One, they got 4 legs. It moved up a foreleg and a hind leg. It's already what? It's already acquired. He says no. The second opinion, no, it has to go its full length. It has to what? It has to move all 4 legs. Lema Rav the Amar Katanakama. So let's say Rav who said when the boat just moves a little bit, he goes like the Tanakama. It's enough that the foreleg and the back leg move, and that's all. Ushmul the Amar Shmuel who said that the whole boat has to be uprooted utterly. The Amar Kavachacha. It was like a racha. The whole animal has to move. The Gemara says no. Each of these Amoraim can say what I'm not against the Tana. Everybody agrees with me, and I'm not fighting against the Tana. Why? Rav says no. What are you talking about? I'm not against anybody. He says I held by the boat when it moves a little bit. Okay. And when I said that, I can hold even like Rabbi Yacha holds that the whole animal has to move. Ad kan lo kam Rabbi Yacha. When did Rabbi Yacha say that the whole thing has to move? That's by a living thing. The afagaf, the akwayad v'regel. Okay, because here's the point. You have to think about it for a second. If an animal lifts up a foreleg and a hind leg, as far as the other foreleg and the other hind leg, the animal hasn't budged. It hasn't moved at all. When you move one part, the other part hasn't moved. Okay, beduchta it's still in its place. So of course he holds there till he moves all 4 legs. Because when you move only 2 legs, it's not going anyplace. Okay, avosvina, but when I said by a boat, came with another port, another kula. The second you move a boat 1 inch, every inch of the boat is moved from where it was. It's true. It's true that it's not. Although the entire space that was occupied is not now unoccupied, but no space is occupied by the part of the boat that was occupied it before. You're right. It's not all unoccupied. That's true. But no part is occupied by the part that occupied it before. Okay. Well, she says so therefore what? He says, no problem. He said, I can agree with Ravacha. Ushmuel says, no, don't worry, I'm not arguing with the Tana. Anadam refila katana kama. I who said what that the whole boat has to move could hold like the Tanakama that only a 4 leg and a hind leg. Akan lo kama Tanakama.
No, he was just touched the hair.
Yeah. No.
Oh yeah, the Tanakama.
Just the 4 leg and a hind leg. Yeah, the cave in the Miracle Yavarego. Why the Tanakama holds what? that it's good enough to move the four-leg hind leg. Okay, why? Okay, yeah, regular. Idach mecha kaima. Right, that's the way animals work. The second they lifted a foreleg and a hind leg, the very next thing that's going to happen is the other one's going to move. So therefore, what? It's a follow through. You don't need the completion. The second that the action started, we can assume the follow through, and he's already kona when he lifted up the two legs. So therefore, of course, even I agree, and I'm not against him. I agree, could only move a little bit because it's gonna move. Svino, when it comes to a boat, imashach lekula. He says, if you move the whole boat in, it's fine because the whole boat moved. Below, okay, low, but it was if you don't move the whole boat, okay, then it's not. You never move the whole boat. It's not moving a little bit's not going to move the whole boat because I claim what he says. What the whole thing has to get out of its
It has
place.
to leave the dock.
Yeah, exactly. That's to move from its place. Okay, good. So we'll call that a daf, and we'll continue more. Mitzvah Hashem. Oh, to everybody.
All right.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
That's a whole new argument.
Okay.
Whole new comparison. I mean,
Yeah, so we have to believe everything you tell us, or else we're in trouble.
well, if I was one of the chachamim, you say, but the answer is here. The answer is, I'll tell you what the answer is. When a person's passing on a tradition, that's the we don't question. But you can argue with anybody. Any kachi dakar shatar, a person makes a comparison, you can argue. That's not the point. But
you can also pick sides on
when a person teaches you the tradition of Torah, we don't. That's the difference. Yeah.
As long as you have a tana.
No, that's a different. Yeah, that's different. But I'm just saying. So, what the point of accepting means? Well, I don't challenge the tradition of the Torah. That was the fight between Hillel and Shammai with the Ger. Remember, the Ger said, "Listen," he says, I only want the Torah. The Torah. I want the Torah Shabbat. But if you remember, what he said was, he said no. First, he said he believed. He didn't say that he didn't believe. It wasn't. He didn't reject the oral law. He didn't believe that the oral law was part of the tradition. You have to have the difference. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that he wouldn't. So Hillel felt that Shammai threw him out. So this guy's out. He's not eligible to be a ger. But Hillel felt. He said, no. Once I'll show him that that's the tradition, he'll accept it. He's not a person who won't accept the oral law. He's a person who he thinks the oral law is not coming. So he felt he could correct the guy. But the difference is, we already got a problem. When a guy's not accepting tradition, we got a big issue. My Rebbe of blessed memory, his gerim were the strongest gerim that ever existed. I'm telling you, the strongest. And what he did was he mamish drove him crazy on Rabbanans. Everything with Torah Shabbat Peh, everything Torah Shabbat Peh, Rabbanans, he made them meshuggah. Made them meshuggah before he converted them. To make sure that they know what they're doing. Okay, good.
Shkoyach Gadol.
You know what?
All those apartment towers in Yerushalayim, like the Migdalim,
What's that?
buildings that they're putting up.
Maybe that's
The skyscrapers of Jerusalem.
Yeah. You know what happened? It was this guy Lopoyansky. He changed the zoning in Yerushalayim.